Welcome, fellow Toastmasters, to the presentation today, Navigating Club Central. I'm your host and presenter, Marion Boatwright, the Immediate Past Division A Director. Please follow along as we go through the important elements of Club Central. When you became a Toastmaster, you received an email with your login name and a link to access your profile to update your password. Once you enter in your password and log on, navigate to Leadership Central, then to Club Central, and the screen will show you the club that you are an officer for. In this particular example, this shows that I am a club officer for CSC Incorporators with the club number. There are several options here in Club Central that we were going to go over today. Let's start with some of the features that are least commonly used. One thing to note, all club officers have access to all the features within the screen. Let's first start with Club Officer Assignment. If your club has a change in officers throughout the course year, it will be important to come in and update the Club Officer Assignment. You can click on whatever office needs to be filled and select the member that is now going to be taking that role. You'll select the term date and the end date and then click Save. It's important at the end of the Toastmaster year by June 30th to enter the club officers for the following Toastmaster year. This is one of the DCP goals and gives clubs credit at the very beginning of the next year for entering in the club officer list. Club demographics is an extremely important option, especially if you should change anything to do with your club meeting. For example, the meeting address, how often you're meeting, and the meeting date and time. So this is where any of the club officers can come in and update the club information. This is extremely important as the beginning of every Toastmasters year, Toastmasters International mails manuals for the club officers and other materials that are needed to fulfill your role to the address listed. Club contact and meeting information is also important, as this is where the meeting information is included, and this shows up on the Toastmasters International website when potential members come in to look for clubs within their area. This is the information that they will see. If the information is incorrect, then potential members can't find you. This is important to update at least once a year. At least check it to be sure that it is correct. And if you change your meeting schedule or the time that you meet and how often that you meet. To change any of these fields, just simply click into them and change the information and click Save at the bottom of the screen. And when you're on the Toastmasters International website, they offer the opportunity for you to chat with a representative. I'm going to tell them no thanks. To navigate back to Club Central, I'm hitting the back button on my browser. If you are doing historical information for the club, for example, an anniversary meeting, and you want to know the history of achievements that the club has received, if you click on Club Achievements, it will list any membership building programs that the club has been awarded, along with Distinguished Club Program. And this information, as I said, is very helpful if you're planning an anniversary celebration for your club, to present this information and celebrate the success that your club has achieved over the years. Club contest is coming up, and it's always important to ensure that members of your club are eligible to compete in a contest. This eligibility assistant will verify that members are eligible for speech contest and proxy assignments. Here you would enter the member's number and their last name, and you can click search, and it will let you know if they are a member in good standing. Members in good standing are members who have paid their dues, and they're also within clubs that are in good standing with Toastmasters International. Another important option that often is not utilized is the addendum to standard club options. When clubs chartered, they'd filled out paperwork with Toastmasters International stating things within their charter of how they're going to operate. If you should, as a club, need to change these, please note that the changes have to be approved by a vote of at least a majority of the active individual members of the club present and voting. This is often called a quorum. Once the club votes on how it wants to change the charter, then you can click on the option, for example, your regular meetings. Currently, in this particular case, the club CSC Incorporators has in their charter that they're going to meet every first and third Wednesday at 12 o'clock in Wilmington. If they change to second and fourth Wednesday, or they change the time of their meeting, again, after the club votes on the changes, they would come in, click on the line, make the changes, and then click Update. Every club should check this just to be sure that it is accurate and that it hasn't been outdated. Make the necessary changes and click Save. For the moment, we're going to hold off on Distinguished Performance Report because there's other ways that club officers can see this and members as well as club financials. We'll come back to that shortly. Let's move up the screen to club membership. Club membership, again, can be accessed by any club officer, and it's very helpful information to be able to have as VP of membership, or the secretary or the treasurer may not always be available. So knowing that any club officer can access these tools makes it easy to conduct club business when those necessary officers may not be present. All clubs are hopefully adding members. The easiest way is often electronically, as it allows quicker access to getting the member into the TI system and gets their initiation package out quicker so they can begin their Toastmasters journey. On this screen where it says Add Membership, the first choice is to pick either that they're not new, that they are a dual or a reinstated member, or yes, they are a new member. What that means is that they have never been a member of Toastmasters. If you've been a member of Toastmasters and are joining another club, then the answer would be no, it's a dual reinstated member. To search for that member, type in their last name, and I'll type in my name. You can use the email that they're registered with on Toastmasters International or their member ID number. I happen to have my member ID number handy, therefore I'm going to type it in and click Search. This is my information. This is my last known club, and I'm going to confirm. It gives me this option to change any of my information. If I had a sponsor, which is a member of the club that recruited me in, I could pick the sponsor, and when I click the drop down, it shows me all the members of the club that could have potentially recruited me. Click I confirm that a completed new member application is on file, and click Submit. Once I click Submit, then the screen that allows the payment for my Toastmasters International fees then becomes available on another screen that we're going to go to in just a moment. This screen allows all of the entry of the information that someone may fill out on the manual form, especially if they're a new member. Follow the instructions on the screen and enter the member information as they've written it on the form so that you make sure you have it done accurately. I'm going to click the back button without actually submitting. And here where it says Submit Payment, this is where I would go in and select my name where I had been, and then I could add to the cart, and then it'll take me to the screen to make a payment. As you can see, it is getting to be membership renewal time. And Toastmasters has already listed the members' names that need to be renewed. I'm going to click on Add to Cart, and then at the bottom, it shows me the member that I am renewing if I were the treasurer, or again, any other member of the leadership team, club officer in the club. I can take this member's credit card number and help her get renewed. If I can click Continue to Payment Information, here's where I can enter the credit card, the name on the card, the address, anything with the red asterisk is required information, and I could click Submit Payment. There are some clubs that would like to have their members be able to renew for a full year instead of the 6 months, and that is possible. A club officer would need to contact Toastmasters International, and here on the screen, if you click Contact Us, a screen opens that gives you different topics. It would be under Membership and Dues Renewals. This is the email address that you would click on and request that Toastmasters add not only the October 1st to March 30th, but also the April 1st to the following September 30th. And then the member could make a $90 payment instead of the $45. Keep in mind, Toastmasters needs several days to accomplish this task as they are doing renewals for members worldwide. To get back to Club Central, I go back to Leadership Central, Club Central, and it takes me back to the page. Here, under Club Roster, this is where it shows me all of the members of the club, when their dues are they're paid until, their address, their phone number, and email address. Please keep in mind that this information should be kept confidential and not widely displayed. And if you should have access to these email addresses and contact information, please note that you are only to contact these members with these email addresses for Toastmasters purposes and not for social or economic reasons. You can export this information into an Excel spreadsheet, especially if you are the treasurer who is putting together mailing address labels to email reminders for dues renewal. It comes in the spreadsheet format, and gives you the necessary information to help the treasurer. And it can also be printed. After you have added new members, collected all your payments, it's time to get some educational awards submitted. I'm going to click on this link, but as you can see that currently as of this recording, this is not been updated to the new Club Central format. It actually takes us into the old tool for submitting awards. I'm going to click here and give you an example of how to submit awards. If you want to submit an award for a club member, you click that option. And here it gives me the members that I can select to give an award. I'm going to pick this person here, Matt Masters. And here are the options of which educational award I need to apply for on behalf of this member. Keep in mind that to submit educational awards, members should be giving you, the club officer, their manuals with all of their projects signed off, and the sign-offs need to be completed typically by the VP of Education or any club officer if the VPE is not available. Please keep in mind, though, if you are a club officer, you cannot submit your own educational award. You must have another club officer enter it for you. In the case of this particular Toastmaster, I am going to enter in their competent communicator. I'm going to click Apply. It has their information here, and then I will click Enter Application Details. I can also, if the member wishes, send a letter of recognition to the member's employer. It defaults to no, but you have the option to say yes and enter in additional information. You can enter application details, and here's where I'll put the speech title, the date that the speech was given. This is why it's important to have the member's manual in front of you when you're trying to enter in this information. This is a requirement for all of the various educational awards. Even in the advanced awards, especially in the communication side, you need to have the titles of the speeches and the dates they were performed. And any of those advanced leadership awards where Toastmasters International presentations, such as the Successful Club Series, is to be presented, you have to know which ones were presented and the dates they were done. Once you get done, you review the application and you submit it. The member receives an acknowledgement email, and you as the person who entered the information also receives an acknowledgement email. In this particular case, I'm going to click the back button until I get out of this screen. And I'm going to return back to Club Central. Again, all officers of the club, as long as you were accurately put in the club officer assignment list, have access to all of these tools. The last thing I want to talk about is the Distinguished Performance Report. But before I do, I just thought of one more thing. Oftentimes, especially if a member is having their membership paid for by a corporation, they may need a receipt of their payment for their expense reports. This is where going to Club Financials is important. You can print receipts for membership dues that were paid to the club. This typically is available a few minutes after a renewal has been done. I can click here on this particular member who paid the $20, looks like a new member fee, and I can hide it And there is a way to print the actual receipt by clicking on the receipt. And now this can be printed or exported and be sent to the member who needs a receipt for their club or for their personal expenses. Distinguished Performance Report, you can click here as a club officer and get an idea of how your club is performing. Currently, CSC Incorporators has a membership base. They started the Toastmasters year with a base of 10 members. To date, they have 12, which is excellent. They've already got 2 new members. And they've met one goal toward the Distinguished Club program. Here it lists all of the 10 goals that Toastmasters International gives each club every year, and it shows the progress. They've been awarded. They've had one member put in for either a CL, ALB, ALS, or a Distinguished Toastmaster Award. They have had 6 club officers trained in the first training session, and they submitted their club officer list on time. As you can see, these don't actually become a check mark until we get through the renewal cycle in October. As long as 8 members for this club renew before October 1st, they will receive credit for this goal. The training goal requires that at least 4 officers be trained in both the first training session and the second training for a club to receive credit. For the membership, you have to have 4 new members and then an additional 4 members, but these are individual goals, not the same as here where they're together. This information is specific to CSC Incorporators. There's another way that you can see this information, and you don't have to be a club officer in order to see it. I'm going to now log out of this website and show you that anyone, even who's not a member of Toastmasters, can see the same information. Anyone can go to Leadership Central, Distinguished Performance Reports. We are in District 18. I click here and find District 18, and the screen repopulates with only information specific to District 18. Here I can see any club's performance, and here is CSC Incorporators. So if I wanted to click on that individually, it gives me the same information that was on the officers page. The only difference is you would have to drill down more specifically to get to CSC, whereas on the Club Central page, it takes you directly to it. There are some clubs within the district who are quite competitive and often peek in on each other's progress to see who can get to Distinguished Club status the quickest. Or at least that's the way it was in Division A. Are there any questions that I can answer at the moment? If not, if you have questions at the end of this presentation, please email me at canopy_of_grace@yahoo.com, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you for your time and attention today, and hope that you have found this presentation helpful in navigating Club Central.